Now at 5 and streaming on CrossroadsToday.com, an Amber Alert out of Gonzales County has ended with one suspect in custody. Plus, a police chase in Dallas turns fatal, leading to the death of 4 people. And a border convoy made their way to a city outside of Austin to protest President Biden's immigration policies.
We are looking pretty good again this afternoon. Tomorrow, your Friday is going to get interesting. It starts off okay, but by Friday night into Saturday, we are expecting some stormy weather. We'll have all that coming up a little bit later on.
A Victoria ISD board member announced their decision to not run for re-election. You're watching 25 News Now at 5. Good afternoon and thanks for being with us. I'm Karina Garcia. Wednesday morning at around 9 o'clock, the DPS pulled over this truck hauling a horse trailer. This was on Highway 59, about 8 miles west of Goliad. The truck was registered in Edinburgh. Authorities found about 11 undocumented people hiding in the trailer. The 42-year-old driver had an ID from Mission, Texas, and is a U.S. citizen. Authorities detained 9 people, including the driver. 4 people did get away, and the driver is charged with 8 counts of human smuggling. Now, police arrested a suspect in connection with an Amber Alert from Gonzales County just this week. Wednesday, San Marcos police found and safely recovered Scarlett Smith, a missing juvenile associated with the Amber Alert. They also arrested 22-year-old Barry Van Mersbergen in connection with the Amber Alert. He faces 5 charges, including harboring a runaway child, resisting arrest, and probation violation from Dallas County. He is in the Hays County Jail currently. Back in Victoria, County Sheriff's deputies responded to a crash this morning at around 7 o'clock near Bloomington High School on FM 616. Deputies found a truck crashed into a utility pole, but the driver was nowhere to be found. The utility company was called in to fix the damage, and the search for that driver continues today. Now, of course, we're following the special mayor election this Saturday. The Victoria City Council called for the election after Mayor Jeff Bouknight announced he was running for the District 30 House seat. On the ballot is Peter Brown, Carissa Winters, Josephine Solis, Dwayne Crocker, Jacob Salceda, and Bob Constantine. As for Bouknight, he remains in the seat until a new mayor is elected. Bouknight was first elected to the City Council back in 2013 and was elected mayor in 2021. He was then re-elected mayor in May of 2022. Now here's a closer look at the candidates, beginning with Dwayne Crocker. He says he is running for mayor to continue his service to others. The 55-year-old wants to focus on improving roadways, and he wants to work to retain firefighters and police officers. He is a current city council member. Crocker is an attorney who graduated from Texas Tech Law School in 1994. Josephine Solis graduated from the University of Houston, Victoria with a bachelor's degree in business administration. Solis is involved in various committees and boards, including the Victoria Metropolitan Planning Organization Advisory Committee, Victoria Economic Development Corporation Board, Compensation Committee, and the EOC Policy Team. The 70-year-old is also a current city council member and was first elected to city council in 2012. Then in 2021, she fulfilled the duties of mayor after Mayor Raleigh McCoy died, and a new mayor was then elected. Our next candidate is Carissa Winters. She listed her occupation as community leader. Winters says members of the community encouraged her to run for mayor. The 40-year-old says she listens to the community and wants to serve Victoria residents. The next candidate is Peter Brown. He listed his occupation as project manager. Brown is 41 years old. And here's a look at the final 2 candidates. Candidate Jacob Salceda says he wants to focus on poverty and homelessness in Victoria. The 29-year-old works as a technical director for the Victoria Television Group. And finally, candidate Bob Constantine says he wants to use taxpayer dollars efficiently and wants to save the city some money. He says as a business owner, he knows how to operate a successful operation. The 68-year-old listed his occupation as Chief Operations Officer. Now stay with CrossroadsToday.com as we cover the special election this Saturday. Polls open at 7 a.m. and close at 7 p.m. If a runoff is necessary, it would take place Saturday, March 16th, and we will also have you covered with that. And now let's shift gears and take a look at your forecast with Chief Meteorologist Mac Bettis. Mac, good to be back. The weather is looking kind of good for right now, but tomorrow you say not too hot?
things will change on us tomorrow. I mean, it was a pretty good spring-like week for most of us, but as I mentioned, the clouds thinned out and we got some good sunshine today. It doesn't look like there's anything coming in, but let me tell you folks, there's a big storm on the west coast. That's our front that's going to be here on Saturday morning with some thunder bumpers. Okay, that means thunderstorms. So we'll be certainly talking and taking a look at what you can expect for the coming weekend.
Mac, thank you. 4 people are dead after a police chase. Police say officers attempted to pull over a vehicle reported stolen this early morning in the Dallas area. The vehicle fled the scene, leading officers on a chase. The officers pursued the vehicle into Dallas, where the driver then lost control of the vehicle. Police say all 4 people inside the vehicle were killed during the crash.
So this is a tragic event. I won't speak to the specifics of it, but I will say that it's a very tragic event. So the Irving Police Department is allowed to pursue stolen vehicles. You know, officers are required to constantly monitor the situation as they're in the pursuit of a vehicle. I will say that time goes fast, or it seems like it goes fast in a pursuit, but it's their job to make sure that they're being safe at all times.
Authorities closed down ramps as a result of the crash, leading to major delays in the downtown area. The Take Back Our Border convoy held a demonstration in a city just outside of Austin, even after being delayed for nearly 2 hours. They protested President Joe Biden's immigration policies and addressed their issues with the current border security.
The Take Our Borders Back convoy has made half a dozen stops on its way to Dripping Springs, just south of Austin. Tonight, a small crowd of people waited at Veterans Memorial Park to see the vehicles roll in, and a more than 2-hour delay could not make them budge.
It's about Americans getting together because there's something wrong and we want to make it right.
Michael R. drove in from Athens, Texas to show his support for a more secure border. He supports the efforts of organizers to ensure that all rallies on this nationwide trip are peaceful, but says it might be hard to control people who turn out for the wrong reasons.
People whose heart's in it are going to be peaceful, but I also understand that there are people that aren't going to want this to go off without a hitch, and there go, throw the monkey wrench into the system and make it look uglier than it really is.
Dan Beasley drove in from Detroit for the Texas rallies and brought this 65-pound cross he made in his garage.
When I heard about what was happening with this group, I knew immediately that was the right time and the right place.
Beasley has taken the 10-foot-tall cross to Uvalde and other cities across the country that were rocked by violence. He says it sends a strong message to both Democrats and Republicans.
Peace, hope, and love, and that's I know that's what this event's going to be.
A Victoria ISD board member is not running for re-election. Mandy Lingle decided not to run for re-election to the Victoria ISD Board District 4 position. Lingle was elected to that position back in 2021. In a statement, she said she feels blessed to have had the opportunity to make positive impacts in the community while serving with her fellow trustees on the board. Now, the Victoria ISD will hold an election this May 4th. The District 2 and District 4 seats are up for grabs. District 4 trustee Mandy Lingle does not plan to seek re-election, and Bridget Marshall holds the District 2 seat. The deadline to apply for a place on the ballot is Friday, February 16th. A glitch in a financial aid form is keeping students with immigrant parents from applying for college grants. That's going to be FAFSA. So here's your viewer poll. You can scan that QR code on your screen to vote. The question is, do you know someone who experienced difficulties with the new version of FAFSA? Yes or no? We want to hear from you. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part. And we're going to have an update on 25 News Now at 6. Texas Agriculture Commissioner Sid Miller will speak in Victoria tonight. Miller will speak at a campaign event for State Representative District 30 candidate AJ Louderback. The event is at the club at Colony Creek, located at 301 Colony Creek Drive until 7:30 p.m. The event will also feature a special message from Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton. Homelessness can result from a variety of reasons, and every person's situation is unique. And that's why the Victoria County Public Health Department hosted their Faces of Homelessness panel at UHB today. Multiple speakers share their experience with being homeless while also answering questions. Terry Ashcraft dealt with homelessness and says these events are important in helping connect the community with the issue of homelessness, adding that improving rental assistance programs would be a great way to directly tackle the issue.
The assistance can't work if the apartments don't let them work. So, I mean, they want 3 times the rent. Well, that doesn't work for almost anyone in my situation because even though I'm employed now, I'm not going to get enough hours right off the bat to make 3 times for another 2 months.
There are resources available to those who are at risk of becoming homeless or are unhoused from Christ's Kitchen, the Victoria Salvation Army, or Mid-Coast Family Services. They're all here to help. Visit crossroadstoday.com for contact information for these resources. And remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click that notification bell. For now, stay with us. The mother of the Oxford High School shooter takes the stand on day 6 of the trial. That's straight ahead on 25 News Now at 5. Also ahead, a boy was rescued from a claw machine in Australia. The details straight ahead. Mother of the Oxford High School shooter took the stand in Michigan today. The 45-year-old mother of Ethan Crumbley, as well as her husband, is charged with multiple counts of involuntary manslaughter. Prosecutors say the two could have prevented the 4 deaths related to the 2021 shooting if they addressed their son's mental health, and they stand accused of making a gun accessible in their home. While taking the stand, she claimed that it was her husband who was in charge of gun safety responsibilities.
Who is responsible for storing the gun?
My husband is.
Okay, explain why you say he's responsible for that role.
I just didn't feel comfortable being in charge of that. It was more his thing, so I let him handle that. I didn't feel comfortable putting the lock thing on it. I just rather not let him do it.
The husband will stand trial in March. The Crumbley parents were originally going to be tried together, but asked for separate trials back in November, and a judge granted their request. Ethan, however, is serving a life sentence. Today kicks off American Heart Month. Heart disease is a leading cause of death among U.S. adults, but heart problems can affect children and teens as well.
In the U.S., nearly 1 in 100 babies is born with a heart disease or defect every year, according to the CDC.
Some of those might be more mild, but some can be much more significant.
Pediatric cardiologist Glenn Iannucci with Children's Healthcare of Atlanta says not all heart problems are caught before birth. There are some conditions that can be missed in routine prenatal ultrasounds.
Really, that kind of underlies the importance of going for routine health checks with a pediatrician where they can listen, and then certainly if there's any concerns, getting evaluated beyond that.
There are medicines and surgeries that can help with even the most severe congenital heart problems, but first the condition has to be detected. Iannucci says signs of a heart condition will vary based on the age of the child. In general, for infants, it may include poor feeding, trouble gaining weight, or persistent fast breathing even at rest. In older children, red flags may be persistent vomiting, chest pain, passing out during physical activity, or shortness of breath and poor stamina while being active.
In the teenage years, a lot of times we're thinking a little bit more about acquired heart conditions in that setting. Some congenital heart defects may have gone unnoticed until that time.
Iannucci says once a problem is identified, lifestyle changes may also help.
Perhaps, we don't want you playing really aggressive sports, but these are things that you can do that can help to keep you healthy without putting you at risk.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Cleanup is underway in Houston after fire suppression foam spilled from a hangar at Bush Intercontinental Airport. Airport staff says the spill was caused by a malfunction in the fire suppression system this morning inside a United Airlines. At least 12 employees are reportedly stuck inside due to the foam. Multiple crews are now on site assisting in the cleanup, though it's unclear how long it will take to clean up all that foam. Now, this one is a guaranteed way to win the game. Australian police rescued a toddler who got stuck in a claw machine game Saturday. The 3-year-old climbed through the machine's dispenser to get a prize. Police officers had to come up with a way to retrieve him, so they asked the boy to move to the back corner of the machine and cover his eyes. Then they broke the glass and were able to get the boy back into safety with his family. And of course, he was able to take home the toy he wanted. You know what? As a kid, I always wanted to do that. I'm not even going to lie. Good.
I can't get my hand in there. How did he actually crawl up in there?
He's a tiny little human.
Pretty amazing. He's going to be in the circus someday. Well, good afternoon, everybody. We had another good-looking day. Felt like springtime out there, but things are going to change for us on Friday night when the storm starts to move in. Right now, we're at 71 degrees. We're looking at 74 as our high temperature today. That's what I call spring-like weather. But it's going to be interesting Friday night into Saturday morning. We may have some thunder bumpers, and we'll be talking about that coming up in just a moment. Well, good afternoon, everyone. We had another good-looking day, few little clouds, but you might have noticed that the lower level clouds started puffing up. It tells me something. Yes, if you've studied weather, you can see when the little low-level clouds start puffing up, that's cumulus clouds. That means they're going to start growing taller and taller. And that is going to give us an unstable atmosphere so that we may have some thunder activity around here Friday night and into Saturday morning. Now, so far, it looks pretty good out in far west Texas. Nothing there, but where is the system? It's just crossing from California into Arizona tonight. And that is the big cluster of storms that's going to be continuing to roll into our area. Now, it's not going to be nearly as strong as it was for the last couple of days over California. California is really having trouble. They've had 10, 15 inches of rain. They're getting heavy snows. They're getting very strong winds and high surf up and down. I mean, they're getting 20-foot breakers hitting the seawalls, if you can imagine that. Well, that's actually storm number 2. Storm number 2 will actually affect us. There's a storm number 3 that we'll talk about later, but let's talk about us first. Well, tonight we'll get down to about 58, 59 degrees. Not exactly cold. As a matter of fact, fairly mild for this time of year, and then again tomorrow in the low 70s. What you will feel tomorrow is a fairly steady or stronger sea breeze blowing up out of the Gulf and up into the land areas. That's because it's getting ready for that frontal system to move. It is expected to move fairly rapidly across the southwest. That's why on the good news that it's moving through quickly. Bad news is it's probably going to give us some thunder. Now, this is the area that we're concerned. Of course, we're in it right about there. This is a marginal chance of thunder activity Friday night into Saturday morning. By Saturday noon, I think a lot of this will start pulling out of here, but for those hours, it's important. A lot of people have events this coming weekend, and I just want you to know that's the way the timing works out, not exactly the way you wanted it. So I asked Future Tracker, okay, for the next 72 hours, how much rain will we get? Well, you see the purples or the dark blues, that puts us in the 1 to 2 inch range, and a couple of spots will be in the 2 to 3 inch range. So right there, you can see Victoria, we're looking at a substantial 1 to 2 inches of rain, all in about 6-8 hours. So, you know, it's going to come down hard and fast as the storms move through. So let's do the timing. We're looking here at Friday afternoon. So far, so good. Good looking Friday. Then Friday night, whoa, things start getting really wild out to the west. There's San Antonio. And then Friday midnight, well, stormy weather moving through here, a second band through here. And then Saturday morning, boom. By 2 a.m., it should be in our region. And then by Saturday afternoon, it pretty much flies out of here. So that's the way the timing works out. With a little luck, you'll have to plan accordingly, okay? Now, tomorrow we're looking partly cloudy and rather breezy. Showers coming in late, probably after sundown. Your high temperatures again on the mild side. So we're calling it AM fog, storms late in the day, AM thunderstorms right here on Saturday, then clearing up. Your Sundays, Monday and Tuesday are looking pretty good. That's your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code. Love for you to scan that, put Crossroads Today on your phone. Here's Karina.
Thank you, Mac. Coming up next on 25 News Now at 5, we're going to take a look at your stocks. Plus, Universal Music ended their relationship with TikTok. Taking a look at your stocks, the Dow up 370 points, the S&P 500 up 61 points, and the Nasdaq up 198 points. Oil down $1.87, closing at $73.98 a barrel. Universal Music Group did not renew their licensing deal with TikTok, leading to songs made by Taylor Swift, Bad Bunny, and Drake to be pulled from the app. Users will not be able, or rather will be unable, to search or use artists' music underneath the agency, nor can artists post their music to the app. A spokesperson now says it's up to TikTok to either mute or take down the videos themselves. Some experts believe this dispute will only last a few months due to how beneficial their partnership was. Tesla could quit Delaware for Texas. CEO Elon Musk plans to have shareholders vote on whether to move the company to Texas, where it is headquartered. This comes after a Delaware court struck down his 2018 pay package. The net value of the compensation package Musk received is worth $51 billion. Today, Delaware is famously one of the world's most welcoming places for companies to incorporate for legal and tax purposes. The Texas Education Agency removed La Jolla's ISD school board after an investigation into reports of fraud. You can read the Texas Tribune article on crossroadstoday.com. And stay with us. We're going to take one last look at your forecast with Mac. Plus, a furry four-legged pirate steals a bag of cookies from a home. Plus, here's a look at world news tonight, right after 25 News Now at 5.
Tonight, breaking news for the first time ever, the mother on the stand charged in her son's deadly school shooting. You will hear what that mother says. Also, the major new storm set to hit the U.S. and Bruce Springsteen's very touching tribute just in tonight. We're next.
As it turns out, pirates come in all shapes and sizes. A security camera caught a possum raiding a package full of cookies at a home in South Lake, a suburb of the DFW area. The cookie delivery was meant for a teen boy for his birthday. The family found the destroyed and empty bag of cookies in the yard the next morning. They were from Tiff's Treats Cookie Delivery, which saw the video and offered to replace the treats for free. But it's just another reminder to take your packages inside every day because of those little creatures, you know, just trying to get a snack.
Of course, they can smell it from miles.
Yeah, they can. Look at him.
Pretty soon, we're going to have to get post office mailboxes that are bigger because everybody's shipping and back and forth, but it doesn't fit in the slot, so you have to leave it outside.
And sometimes raccoons, you know how they have the little fingers?
They're smart little guys.
Oh, they're cheeky little guys. I love them. Yeah. So what about this weather?
Well, we've got a good-looking Friday morning. It's Friday night when it gets a little complicated. We expect a line of storms to come in Friday night, probably closer to midnight, and then roll through here all Saturday night and into the morning. Now, by noontime on Saturday, I think it'll be gone, but if you've got anything early on Saturday morning, you have to deal with these thunderstorms coming through. I frankly think that it'll be rough enough that we may have to change our plans. Okay. So any of you that have Saturday morning plans, you may have to adjust them, postpone, or do it later in the day, something like that. But by Saturday night, it's pretty much all gone.
All righty. Thank you, Mac. And thank you for being with us. We hope to see you back here tonight for 25 News Now at 6. World News Tonight with David Muir is up next.